Okay, let's do some more. Um, sorry, this is English 101, week 7, part 8. Although, again, useful for all my classes. We're talking about plagiarism. So, um, let's go back to jokes for a second. The Simpsons has been on for like 30 years. Um, Family Guy has been accused of stealing jokes from The Simpsons, and I will have hopefully I'll be able to find a clip collection for you so you can see this. But like, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I'll try. But Family Guy has frequently been accused of stealing jokes from The Simpsons. Well, how does that work? Well, the thing is The Simpsons is 30 years old, and most of the Family Guy audience is under 30, which means they're not necessarily going to know the jokes are so old. They're new to the younger audience, so they don't know that things are being stolen. Um, so it's again, it's plagiarism because they're taking work somebody else did and they're passing it off as their own. But it's tricky because like a plot line like um, Homer damages a car so that he can claim his car he gets rid of his car secretly and then claims it got stolen so he can get a new car. That's like a common thing in the real world. So if both Family Guy and The Simpsons do that, it's not plagiarism, but sometimes it's the exact joke. Like there's an old Simpsons episode where Homer gets a dog, and every time he goes to eat snacks in front of the TV, the dog jumps up and steals the snack. And he does it again, dog steals it. 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 This is the exact same joke in Family Guy, where Peter has a bird in his beard, and every time he's eating popcorn at the movies, the little bird comes up and steals the popcorn. He just keeps doing it over and over and over, and every single time the bird grabs the thing. Now, one's a bird, one's a dog, but the basic joke there is the same. That feels like plagiarism. So it's tricky, and especially with long-running television shows and younger viewers too. I mean, try watching if you watch kids movies, movies that are aimed at 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds. It's new to them. So those movies will frequently steal jokes from decades earlier because the kids don't know. They don't care. They just want to laugh at the joke. They don't need footnotes. They're small children. But it's kind of plagiarism because why? Because you've taken a joke that somebody else made and you've passed it off as your own. Okay, cool. This is going pretty well. And I'm going to give you a video of one of my favorite little mashup songs that has a Star Wars theme song and Shaft with Chemical Brothers rap on top. It's amazing, and it has a little YMCA in there. It's incredible. Cool. Okay, so I feel like this is going pretty well. Let's do one more topic. Let's talk about fashion. Fashion's real tricky. Fashion is real tricky. Did you ever have an outfit that you like? I know some of my students really care about fashion and makeup, and they want to have a good look. And by the way, that's a skill. I know some of your teachers are like, one of my students was like, oh, they told the teacher they were good. The teacher was like, what are you good at? And my student was like, makeup. And the teacher kind of made fun of him. But like, makeup's a real skill. I mean, it's a whole job you can get in the movies. Esthetician is it's a real job. But some of my students are real good at fashion. They wear interesting shoes with interesting bags, and they have really cool coats, and they work really hard on their makeup. And right, I'm sure if you're a person who cares about fashion, you've done a lot of shopping, and you've gone looking for interesting things to combine, right? Because you buy a jacket here, and you buy a shirt here, and you buy a dress here, or a skirt here, and you buy boots, and but that's a lot of work for those of you who care about fashion. Please notice that. How do you feel if somebody steals your look? I'm sure this has happened to some of you. Is you have a certain look, a certain style. Someone else copies your style. Now the problem is that it's not like there's not a way to wear an outfit that comes with a little tag that's with footnotes. There's no bibliography for clothes. But if someone creates a look and you copy that look, are you paying tribute to your hero? And if somebody notices that your look is just like their look, you'd be like, oh, thank you. I was actually trying to look like them because they're my hero. Or are you going to be offended? Like, I came up with this outfit myself. This is right. So, because one of those is plagiarism and one of those is paying tribute to somebody great. Billy Porter went to the Academy Awards. He's an actor, and he went to the Academy Awards or Emmys or something. And he wore this amazing outfit. It was a tuxedo top. It looked like a tuxedo. Black jacket, bow tie, white shirt. But on the bottom, it had a poofy dress. And people were like, this is the craziest outfit we've ever seen. This guy is wearing a dress with a tuxedo top. It's amazing. And Billy Porter's amazing. But then people did a little bit of research, and it turned out that there was another, Billy Porter's black, and there was another famous black performer who wore this outfit many, many decades ago. Was it plagiarism? No. That guy is Billy Porter's hero, and he wanted to draw attention to this person. And when people said, hey, that's the same outfit this other famous black queer performer wore, and he would be like, yes, it is. I wanted their spirit with me tonight or whatever. And so, so again, things don't come with footnotes, so sometimes it can be hard to tell. Did you just steal the look from somebody else, or is it actually a way of paying tribute to people who have influenced you? And there's all kinds of right, and this goes for movies, where costume design looks exactly the same, and plots in movies are often real similar. Is it plagiarism? Is it not? It's a teachers. Here's the thing: teachers love to make plagiarism seem like it's this really obvious black and white situation. And again, it sort of is, because you have all that information in the box. You know when you're cheating on your papers. You know when you're trying to, you're not doing your own work and you're taking other people's work and you're making it look like yours. But teachers often make it seem like it's real simple to tell plagiarism from non-plagiarism. And it kind of is in the academic world. It's a little, it certainly is easier. But it's worth talking about the ways in which, in the real world, these things get pretty complicated pretty quickly. And muddy, like when talking about fashion. Just a real simple example. One of my favorite television shows is an X-Men related television show called Legion. It's real weird. Last episode's terrible, but it's a fascinating show, and I love the X-Men, and I love this show, and I really liked the T-shirts the guy wore on the show. I thought they were fucking cool. The main guy. So my wife for Christmas bought me T-shirts that the guy wore on the show. And this is one of them. I'm wearing it. It's off. Okay, cool. It's simple. It's just a simple T-shirt, right? It's not super complicated, but it's the same shirt he wore on the show, and so I wanted to dress like him because I thought he was fucking cool. And she got me the T-shirt. Now, anybody sees me in this T-shirt, do they know that it's a reference to the obscure FX television show Legion that was on for 3 years a couple of years ago? Nobody knows that. No, nobody. Even if you watched that show, you probably don't remember the T-shirt he had on in that one episode. But I'm wearing his T-shirt. Now, if I were to wear it with all the stuff that he wore in that exact same episode, it'd be like copying him exactly. But like again, like is it plagiarism? Is it not? I don't know. Did I plagiarize FX TV when I wore this outfit? And again, this is something that really confuses students, so I want to go over it really quickly. But copyright and plagiarism are different. Copyright has to do with who owns what. Copyright says, DC Comics owns Superman. So if you write a Superman story or something that's too similar to a Superman story, you might get sued. But that has to do with ownership. Plagiarism has to do with who invented the words and ideas or other things. Are you the inventor of something, and did somebody else take your idea and claim they invented it? That's a little bit different. I know it seems very similar. So for example, it seems it has a lot of overlap, and it can be a little bit confusing. But one is about ownership and money, and the other is about sort of ethics and claiming invention of. And they often overlap because usually the inventor is also the owner, but not all the time. And so it can be kind of tricky and confusing. So for example, just to give you an example of a situation, because you're like, but isn't the inventor always the owner? Not always. If you work for the comic book industry and you invent a supervillain, you don't own the supervillain. If you work for DC or Marvel and you invent a villain for DC or Marvel, you don't own that villain. The company owns the villain, and they can put that villain on a T-shirt and not pay you any money. And they can put that villain in a movie and not pay the guy. Right, the guy that invented Rocket Raccoon, he invented Rocket Raccoon, but he doesn't own Rocket Raccoon. The Disney Corporation owns Rocket Raccoon, and they put that character in Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy made $1 billion. The creator of Rocket Raccoon was dying in a nursing home while the movie was out. He didn't have any money. Why? Because he invented it, but the contract he was under meant that the company owned it. So ownership and invention, oftentimes the inventor is the owner. But sometimes, but if I buy a television, I own it. I didn't invent it, so that's different. And sometimes you can invent something and not own it, like with Marvel Comics. Okay, cool. That's the end of this video. All right. That may be it. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But maybe that's the end of it. And there'll be some videos for you to watch after this that have interesting examples of plagiarism or homage or the complicated world of plagiarism. Thanks for joining me.